What is up, my veggies? My name is VTR, and welcome back to another movie review. And today, I am reviewing Raiders of the Lost Ark. Now, you guys are probably wondering, wait, didn't you do that on a spinning wheel like literally a year ago, and you're just not getting around to reviewing it? Yeah, that is exactly what I'm doing. So I don't really know where to start. Not that I don't know what I want to say, but I don't know where to necessarily start. So I guess I'll give a little background on my history with this franchise in a little bit. My introduction, I learned what Indiana Jones is because after I got into Star Wars. I remember my dad telling me when I was little, he's like, oh, you like Star Wars? Well, the guy that made these made this, so you may like this. I was little, and then I think I remember I wanted to play the Lego Indiana Jones video game years later. Not years later, a few years later, and that was kind of my main introduction to these movies. And then I've seen bits and pieces of movies over the years, and that was pretty cool. But I never thought I'd actually sit down and watch this movie eventually. I always wanted to, but I just never had the motivation, and now I finally have. And what did I think of it? Well, right off the bat, I'll just say it was pretty darn good. I actually enjoyed this movie. I think most people who've seen this enjoy it. I don't know anyone who told me they've seen this movie. I've never met anyone that doesn't like it. I guess I'll start with the action. That's what I'll talk about first. The action, obviously, with the time period, it's pretty obvious of when this is made, but that doesn't hold it back. It still holds up. The fight scenes are still energetic. It's very entertaining. I'm actually still I'm not sitting there thinking this looks bad because of the time. It's aged pretty darn well. Now there's obviously some points where I'm like, oh, that sound effect, little product of the time. They're it's older, so, but most of it it wasn't like that. I was enjoying it, and a lot of it just generic sound effects, which is not a bad thing. Some of the special effects actually are really nice, especially at the end with the whole when they open the ark is really cool. I believe, if I remember when I watched something on this a while back, I believe that was done with stop motion. I could be wrong. I probably am wrong on that, but I remember hearing something about that was done with stop motion. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But there is... So, my introduction to Harrison Ford was Star Wars. And seeing Harrison Ford in this movie look younger than he did in A New Hope is just mind-boggling to me, because the fact that this came out after A New Hope and even after Empire Strikes Back. So there's that. Do I have really any negatives to say? Off the top of my head, I really can't think of any, because I'm literally reviewing this right after I finished watching it. If I had to say any negatives, I don't think I have really any. I imagine when if I let this set with more time, I'll probably think of something. I'll tell you one thing. Seeing this one that made me legitimately uncomfortable was the snake scene. With them in the pit with the snakes. I have a hatred towards snakes. They freak me out. They always have. It's just keep them away from me. That's something I do not want to be near me. And just the fact that some reason that just made me very uncomfortable watching the snakes and everything, which is expected with me at least. I knew about the whole snake thing and everything. I knew about the scene before but when it actually happened, I was like, ugh. But I legit do not have much negative to say about the movie. If I had to say anything, it's probably just the sound effect thing that I mentioned earlier. But that's I said, that's a product of the time. That stuff just shows just because it's older and it doesn't sound bad. I don't really. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's just that I don't know what I'm trying to say there, but I don't see much negative of. Do I think this movie is one of my in my top 5 favorite of all time? No, I wouldn't say that. Well, one, I've only seen this once, and I'll probably see it more times in the future. But that's really mostly what I can think about this movie. There's not a lot of negative aspects that I really can think about. I really, really don't know. And it's funny. It's usually, even with movies I like, most movies I can find things I don't like about them. For Pete's sake, there's just some stuff I like, and there's even stuff that caters towards the horror fan in me in this, with some literal. There's a thing at the beginning with the dude that's with Indy and when the giant boulder chases after him and everything. He gets skewered. You don't see it on screen, but he gets skewered by the traps in there, and that's I like that. And then there's the dude that gets chopped up by the propeller on the plane. That I like. That was interesting and pretty iconic from what I know. So it's really hard for me to say anything negative. I don't think there's really much negative things I can say about this movie. Maybe the fact that because nothing feels really filler. I'm gonna need to watch this more, and to maybe more my thoughts will adjust on it over time. And maybe I'll make an updated video after that when my opinions are a little different. But I legit cannot think of anything else to say negative. The action was fun. If anything, maybe I could have had a little more from the villain. Maybe, but that's digging for something to complain about. But that's all I could really think of. I really liked some of the artistic choices in this, and it's just I legit enjoyed it. Okay, so I guess I gotta give my rating now. I don't absolutely love this movie. I know a lot of people do. It's a classic for them, but literally this is 2021, first time I've ever seen it. I don't want to give it a low rating. I do not think it deserves a 1, it does not deserve a 2, and it does not deserve a 3. So I'm going to stick it right on a solid 4 out of 5. That is my solid rating. I don't think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread or anything, but I enjoyed this for what it is, and the genre it basically made. Without this movie, we probably would not have Tomb Raider or Uncharted, which is insane. No, we wouldn't have probably wouldn't have either of those things if it wasn't for this film franchise, which is really cool to think about. And the fact that this thing still gets referenced to this day is pretty cool. And it's up in there with some of the most iconic franchises. And I'm surprised I have never watched it. But before we leave off the video, you guys know that with these videos that have the spinning wheel, we always at the end of the video we take the wheel and we spin it to see what the next movie we'll be reviewing is. Let's go over to the wheel.